afternoon, everyone. Glad that you could join us today. This is Mike Hill with Coldbrook Insurance and Total Control Health Plans. And from time to time, we come across some pretty cool products and services that we want you all to know about. And today I'm excited to welcome Troy Hanratty, the president of Health 180, to share a new contact tracing platform that they've got access to. And what I'd like to do for those that are on the call, I'd like to invite a couple of you to plug into the Q&A section of our webinar, your cell phone number, if you're interested in doing so, because what Troy can do live on this call is plug your number into the system so you can just see exactly how easy it is to set this thing up, and also get the experience that you or your employees would have in the event you need to set one up, or if there was a need to notify that someone that they'd come into contact with might have COVID or any other communicable disease. So with that, I invite you all, if you're interested, to go ahead and plug your cell phone number in at any point, but go ahead and start now if you're interested in the Q&A, and Troy will get you plugged in. And with that, Troy, I'm going to turn it over to you to take us through this platform, how you came across it, and why employers may want to consider it. And then we'll wrap this up in about 15 minutes or so. Troy.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Mike. Today, really what we're going to discuss is a Bluetooth contact tracing card. Amazing technology that is really designed to keep our employees, our business really safe. And, you know, obviously with the pandemic here and everybody having to shut down, you know, it's really important for people to figure out a way to manage, monitor infections so that it doesn't spread through our businesses and we have to close a line or a plant or a whole business down. So as we are getting set up here and getting into it, just really quickly, I'm gonna just show you guys, hopefully everybody can see my screen. Can you confirm, Mike? Sorry.
Yep, absolutely, looking good. And did you see we've got a number in the Q&A? I don't know if that popped up on your end.
Yep, I got it. So the technology that I'm going to show today is actually out of Australia. So you can see the questions. I haven't made them Americanized yet, but these questions can be customized. They can be, you don't have to have them if you don't want to. But for the purposes of this, I'm going to just go through here, check these boxes. You can see this box here. Have you been feeling unwell, had difficulty breathing, or a cough? If I check that and then I hit next, I'm going to get a warning that this person should probably not enter my place of business because they've reported that they had a cough. So we'll uncheck that. I'm just going to quickly register our first person here. For the sake of time, I'm not going to put in everything, but
and while you do that, Troy, so what he's demonstrating here is if you had a visitor on site, how they could go through this process and be issued a card to trace them while they're on site. But in addition, if you had, for all your employees, they can all be uploaded in one fell swoop with a CSV file. So this isn't having to be done one by one. Correct, Troy?
Yeah, it could be, and depending, you know, some groups that are smaller are deciding that they just want to load the people. This could be a situation where you're loading a new hire. You know, obviously one by one, you probably don't need us to come back in and do that. But yeah, it's very simple for, you can see here, visitor check-in, visitor check-out, uploading the data, or registering. I mean, the beautiful thing about this product is it's just very simple. So we will we'll come back to this in a minute here, but let's hopefully somehow get this out of my screen here. Sorry, I'm having issues. And now let's, we'll go back and we'll kind of explain the product here before we come back and demo kind of how it works, because I know we kind of jumped in there, but the cards need to talk to each other for a certain amount of time before we have do the contact tracing. So that's the main purpose I wanted to do that. So thank you. And hopefully, Melanie, you should have got, as long as I typed your cell phone number right, you should have got a text message letting you know that you were registered. But really the whole point of this product right now, we're kind of selling it as a COVID solution. But I truly believe that this is something that is going to be here and protect businesses going further into the future. You know, we've had 4 pandemics over the last 20 years. None of them have been quite as extensive as this one, but you know, how often is this going to happen going forward? Is it going to become more frequent? Is it going to be every 3 years? Do we have to have a solution to really protect everybody within our business? And if you even think about influenza, for example, we were having one of the worst influenza years in recent history, but March 14th hit, and obviously that disappeared. So, but even if with something like influenza, if somebody calls HR, says that they have it, we could actually trace who they've been in contact with, get those people out and get them tested and get them antivirals. And if we can get those antivirals in right away, we could actually cut down their days of missed work by 5 to 7 days by just getting those in early. So I really think there's going to be a new niche here for businesses going forward, which is, you know, avoid pandemics, pandemic preparedness. So this really, it's a Bluetooth card. It's worn on a lanyard or worn on a belt loop, you know, a clip. Similar to lots of businesses, people have to wear those to open doors to get in, or just a name badge. It's a companion card right now that just goes along with that. Building into the future, we are looking at, you know, can we make that also the card that opens the doors or has the name on it? But really with COVID and having our businesses shut down for 3-4 months, you know, this is an opportunity to put something on a person that will keep the business running. It will protect our clients, our vendors, our employees, and we have the ability to isolate infections and get the people that may have been exposed out of our place of business right away to go quarantine and get that PCR or antigen test. So when you think of this, the Bluetooth card, it's something that's always on, simple to use. It gives us the ability to track if any people are ever within 6 feet at our place of business for longer than 2 minutes. Both the cards just make a notation. It doesn't know where they were. We're not tracking location. There's no HIPAA data on here, no personal health history or anything. It's just really first name, last name, cell phone, and or email address, just depending on how you want to communicate with them. We now can contain those people. And again, the whole point of this is really just to keep your business open. So you register a card to a person, kind of like I did with our volunteer there in the beginning. Thank you for that. You're going to wear the card while you're at the place of business. And if somebody then reports that they have COVID, we're going to upload the data from their card, and we will see all the people that then had interactions for longer than 2 feet within 6 minutes of that person. Now you can change that 2 minutes. Reason it's set at 2 minutes right now is that's what the World Health Organization says. But for any of you, those of you that are looking at the CDC, they say within 6 feet for longer than 15 minutes. So we can adjust that based on client needs. We now trace, isolate, get those people out of there. The simplicity of this, the beautifulness of this, no smartphone required. This does not connect to their phone. You know, if you're a manufacturer where they can't have phones in the plants, you know, this has no integration. There is no IT infrastructure build out. The privacy is completely preserved for the people. And it really, again, gives us that ability to trace those people. So if you think of a comparison, we were asked by some very large employers to go out and find solutions. So we looked at 4 different mobile app applications, the biggest one being Healthy Together, which is Apple and Google came together to create a mobile app. But there's some really big gaps or problems with the mobile apps. One is the employees have to have their phones on them at all times. If they get up and go to the restroom or the water cooler or the printer and they don't bring the phone with them, you're not tracing them. Also, Bluetooth has a tendency to drain batteries. So if people turn their Bluetooth off at any time, again, we're not tracing them. And then last, with them, they're tracking your GPS location 24/7, which for privacy reasons, we really don't think people want that. Our card checks all the boxes. And then you have people that are trying to do manual tracing right now. I was very shocked, but we've actually had employers tell us that they've hired, 30 to 50 security guards that are watching cameras at their place of business, and they're manually tracing when people have come in contact with each other. And so my first question is, well, what do you do when they go to the bathroom? Well, we lose them. Obviously, we don't have cameras in there, right? So the Bluetooth card, again, it checks all the boxes that it's always on, it's always tracing. They're wearing it on their person, so we don't have to worry about did they take their phone with them. All the technology is inside the card. So as soon as we assign that card and turn it on, it is tracing immediately the distance between the cards. So one card reading to another card. Again, no apps to download. You don't need a cell phone. There doesn't have to be a Wi-Fi connection at your place of business. There's no IT setup or infrastructure, all in the card. So I'm going to skip through platform technology. We're going to show you this in just a second. I've kind of already showed you the way that we register individuals, but we'll also show you the back end of the technology. Some of the specs here, really within 6 feet for longer than 2 minutes. All the technologies inside the cards. The way that we run it is on a 6-month contract for the cards because the battery life for the card is 7 months. So we don't ever want to run into a situation where individuals aren't tracing anymore because the battery died. So after 6 months, if you sign up for a second 6 month, or if you signed a year contract or whatever, we would just send you new cards that are registered to the folks and you hand those out to use going forward. The temperature on here, really, really awesome. It can be in coolers down to minus 13 degrees, and outside it can be used up to 167 degrees. The data on the card is stored for 20 days. You can adjust that to whatever you want. But what I mean by that is if have it on our place of business, and for 20 days, the cards are all interacting and talking. We haven't had a COVID report. On the 21st day, the first day is going to fall off. So again, to really ensure the employees that, there's privacy here, that we're not tracing anything more than the interaction through the cards. We're not housing that data. And really that is because that's about the incubation period for COVID, but you also have the ability to make that timing whatever you want. Right now, depending on order, it's about 2 to 3 weeks to get the cards. Again, very simple, easy to use, and the whole point is to keep our businesses open. So now I'm going to just switch back. And
Troy, while you're doing that too, just to add some validity to this program. So you said it was developed in Australia, and we've all seen on the news how successful New Zealand was in mitigating. I think they went 100 days without any new cases. You referenced when you and I were talking before we kicked this off that this is a program that's being used in New Zealand. Is that accurate?
Yes, every single citizen of New Zealand is now wearing this card. They're very big in Australia, South America. but we have the U.S. distribution rights to the card, and we just got that about 2 weeks ago. So it's brand new here, something that that has gained a lot of attention, a lot of traction as people try to figure out how to keep their businesses safe. And then I will let everybody know that Melanie let me know that she did get the text message, so that's good. It is working. And Mike, you can see my iPad now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so best thing about this technology is the simplicity. You really have 4 or 5 buttons: settings, help, visitor check-in, visitor checkout, a register, and an upload. So, you know, whether it's if it's a visitor coming in, open up, you have your select questions that you want to ask. We check the boxes. As long as they don't answer something that should throw up a red flag for you to not let them in your place of business, we move to first name, last name, email. Just do this quick so you can see. Cell phone and or email address. We don't need both. Scan the QR code, and then we have the card. You hit one button on the card. There's only one button on the card, and that person is now registered. So now let's really quickly look at the admin site. So this is the admin site that HR or whoever's running it would have. Even on here, 5, 6 buttons, very simple. So when we go to the profile search, I'm going to just, you could type in a name or phone or email to find these people. I'm just going to search everybody because I only put Mike Hill in, and then Melanie, thank you for doing that. You can view their profiles. You can, if you typed in their number wrong or you want to add an email address or anything like that, you can see the card number. When we get to contact tracing, here, I'm going to just search for everybody. We have not done any contact tracing yet because I haven't uploaded the data from anybody's card yet. So nobody's going to show up there yet, but just so you know, that's where it would. Any recent activity, so you can see the registered text messages went out. That message is fully customizable. So if you want to put any messaging around kind of your company policies, anything like that, it's here. We can see those sent SMS messages here, sent email. I haven't done that, but, and then our templates. So we have 2 in here right now that are, you know, just demo ones that I made up. So after I do the contact tracing, Melanie and Mike will both get the message that I've created here, and you can edit that message to be whatever you want. I'll just show you guys what I wrote in here now. And if anybody wants to call my cell phone, I just put my number in there. But there could be links to places that you guys have relationships with where they could get the PCR or the antigen testing. You could have your whole company policy listed in here of what they need to do now that they've been diagnosed. In terms of the users, there's myself and a super admin, so you can put, you know, whoever is going to have access to this. The firmware is up to date, so there's not going to be any kind of a addition there yet. We can set up the cards to track by whether it's an employee, a vendor, a client. Maybe you want to look at management. So we can set up those cards really however you guys want. You can add more categories for those, but now you're tracking everybody via whether they're an employee or somebody from outside the business. Company name, firmware is up to date, template for registration. So that's just what is the message that's going to go out. I have everybody set up right now as an employee. Tracing, so there's confidence levels here or how high you want the tracing to be. We can select medium or high. We recommend just medium, but you do have the ability to make it more sensitive if you wish. Here you can see, you know, the contact tracing, how long is the data going to be stored on the cards. Currently, you know, 20 days is kind of what we recommend. So again, on the 21st day, the first day is going to roll off. and we're only storing that 20 days of interactions between the cards before moving on. Now this reset data button, because this is a demo site, I don't want to store your guys' data in here. So after each demo, I can click this reset button and erase everything. That obviously won't be there for you guys.
So Troy, just to and maybe you're going to get to this, but let's say, Melanie calls in and says that she came in or she's been diagnosed with COVID. Then when you do the trace, you'd see her card came in contact with mine, or list everybody who came in contact with her. And in one bulk fell swoop, I can push a button and notify everybody. Is that correct?
Yep. So perfect lead in. Thank you. So back to the app, the cards, Melanie and Mike's cards have been together long enough. So we have some contact tracing that has happened between the two cards here. So we're going to pick on Mike because I don't want to give COVID to Melanie. But Mike has called HR, let him know that he has COVID. So I'm going to click upload. I'm going to click the button on Mike's card. It's going to flash for 5 blue flashes. It's looking up the card now to upload the data. It's now transferring that data to the admin site. And the transfer is complete. So now when we come back to our admin site, I'm sorry, I struggle to grab this thing sometimes. Now we come into contact tracing. We're going to run that contact trace. We can see now Mike Hill showed up. I'm going to now trace him based off the data that was uploaded to the card. We can see now Melanie is the only person. She had 8 contacts with Mike that were longer than 2 minutes. So now we can either select the certain people we want or click this and it would give us everybody. We're going to send the message. We already have our saved template in here. So I'm going to do the possible infection rate, letting Melanie know. And Mike, you're not going to get this text because you're not the possible people that have been exposed. You're the person that has it. But I click now, and literally within 30 seconds or so, Melanie will have a text message letting her know that she's potentially been exposed and what our company policies are to get her out of our place of business to keep everybody else safe. But now the beautiful part is we can keep our business up, running. We don't have to shut anything down. We're just going to remove all the people that were potentially exposed to Mike.
And Troy, one of the things I think is really important is you weren't tracking my information until I told you that I may have had an issue. And so from a privacy standpoint, we're not tracking employees all the time. We're only tracking them as needed, correct?
Exactly. So that's where that rolling 20 days comes in. That 21st day, the first day is going to fall off. We're not looking at GPS location. We don't know if, Mike and Melanie skipped out of work for a little while and it happened, down at the local tavern. We don't know if it happened in the lunchroom. We just know that they came within contact 6 feet for longer than 2 minutes. So for privacy reasons, for no HIPAA data, I mean, yes, it purely is looking at interactions. It doesn't look at anything else.
And also the administrator needs to have my card and push the button to get that data uploaded. Otherwise, it's not going to upload to anywhere until there's a need to do so, correct?
For the demo purposes right now, I hit the button here. But before anybody would get any of the cards, basically, Mike, you were at home when you called and you let HR know. You're going to open up a specific website and you're going to just click the upload button for yourself because we have to activate that card to send the data to the admin system. So no matter where you are, we don't want you coming back to work to bring the card in, right? Because you already have COVID. So from your home, wherever you are, you just need to open a specific web browser, click the button, and all that data will be uploaded.
And that's the only time my particular data goes anywhere. So if I if I have this thing on for 6 months and I never come in contact with anybody and there's no need for the data to go anywhere, it goes away and that's the end of it.
Yep, you control the full power to upload the data on your card.
Perfect. Awesome. So, $1 million question, this thing probably costs about $500 a week, right?
No, actually, that's kind of the best part too. When you look at pricing, right now we have a U.S. introductory pricing that's valid through September 30th if we receive a contract before then. But if you're under 1,000 cards ordered, there's $1,000 platform fee, and then it's $30 per card for the 6-month $30 per card for the 6-month subscription. If you're over 1,000 cards ordered, they waive the platform fee, and it's just the $30 per card for the 6-month subscription. After 10/1, if you're under 1,000 cards, it would go up to $1,500. If you're over 1,000 cards, that's waived, but then the price goes to $35 per card for a 6-month subscription. So even if you're looking at other tracing cards that are out there, their average is $99 for 2 months. So when you think of price on this thing, it's extremely cheap. So just to give you an example of that, you have a 100 life group, let's just say, so they have the $1,000 platform fee, but you're talking $4,000 to protect your business for 6 months.
Awesome. With that, I want to just give anybody an opportunity to type any questions they may have into the Q&A. Otherwise, I will send a follow-up email with the recording of this webinar, and I'll include Troy's information in it. You're also welcome to reach out to us, and we can help facilitate that contact if you'd like to do it. And Troy, you guys are ready to accept orders, correct?
We are, yep. We are up and running and ready to go, and absolutely, we can help with that.
Perfect. Well, I'm not seeing any Q&A. It means you've done a great job explaining this, and we appreciate you spending time with us today. And we'll get this wrapped up, and certainly reach out to me. And again, you'll have Troy's contact information in a follow-up email. So thank you all very much. Oh, it looks like we did get one question. Is it available in Canada, Troy?
Absolutely. It's because of the technology being Bluetooth, that the cards are not talking to each other. You don't need cell phone towers. You don't need anything. So yes, anywhere in the world that you want to put this card, we can put it there.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for your time today, Troy. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. Have a good day.